Alright, audio sync. Hopefully that works. Hello everybody, how's it going this evening? Obviously, because everybody is in all different places around the world, most of you will not be evening, but hey, I'm the one running the show, so it's evening here. Okay, looks like everybody's joining in. Excellent, excellent. Growing a beard for Santa. Oh no, it's called growing a beard for being lazy. Right, yeah. Let's get into the overhead straight away rather than people worrying about my jolly appearances. Let's fix up the multimeter. Okay, we got a iPhone 10, iPhone X, take your pick. And okay, fair enough. It's got the nice little streaky bars there, but this is actually a test screen. It's not the original. This was the one that was on it, and it's taken a crack right in the middle of the sensor there. And unfortunately, when I plug this one in now, it causes it to boot loop. So I have to take this sensor off and find out what's causing it to boot loop. I don't know if I'm going to be able to restore this phone to the point where it's usable again for the person, or whether it's perpetually doomed to be a boot looper. I don't know, it's not my normal field of experience, but I already have got the data off for the person, which is the most important thing. And you can see they've already smashed up the back pretty good. Yeah, even the induction coils starting to look a bit mangy there. So yeah, must be something wrong with this sensor flex. We'll take it off and see what we can find. And with regards to that logo stuff last night, I have started the organisation of my getting the t-shirts done and business cards done, and I've already commenced on the development of the new web page that will use it. So it's all, the die is set, as they say, and now we shall see how things go. Arnold, you got more grey. Maybe I've had an easier life. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe I can attribute it to my wife. Okay, let's see if there's any... Oh wow, yeah, the camera actually is working. I mean, it's a little bit crimped there, but I don't think that's... I'd say... Yeah, I'd say that's more our problem area. So we'll get these frustrating little tri-wings out. Try not to lose those tri-wings, by the way. I found out the hard way that they are quite unique. You can't just find them anywhere else. We'll see how it all goes with the logo. See whether there's any point in doing merchandising, mugs, cups, whatever. I feel a bit contrived doing that sort of stuff, in all honesty. Kinda wonder... Yeah... But it's definitely got to be something on this flex, because as soon as I connect the flex, it'll start boot looping again. Hey, Mr. Stamps. Hey, Rob. C. Warren. Travis. Barry. Oh, Matthew. Does this one have the little... No, it doesn't. Oh, well. It's convenient. The whole thing just came off. And there's no touch down the middle either. This whole section's just kaput. Sad thing is, I actually just fit that on a couple of weeks ago. Andrew McDermott. It's a soft OLED one, which is why it managed to actually... It still visually works just fine. But like I said, sensor is kaput. It's got nothing to do with the... It's got nothing to do with the physical. It's liquid damaged. Yeah. Crusty and nasty. It's the Crusty and Nasty Show. Yuck, 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 yuck. To be fair, it's not that bad. Yeah. Okay. So what is that? Is that replaceable or does that have an ID fixed to it? So you tried growing a beard once, patchy as hell and looked crap. Oh, bugger. Hey, Jim. Yeah, you know I will. But I've got to throw in those things to remind people that they should be downright thankful for the fact that I do stick to my day job. You all heard me. Yeah, so can I take that off, clean it up and reflow it on? I'm guessing not. Kind of reminds me of a deranged Doctor Who Cyberman face. Unfortunately, that is serial numbered. Ah, delightful cues. Okay, so basically it's end of life for the phone. Is that the case? Dip it in alcohol. I was thinking, yeah. Is there anything porous on there that I can? Yeah, that at least explains it anyway. So I'm happy about that, but not so happy that I may be end of lifing this person's phone. Okay, so there's a glass plate on the front there. Alcohol first, flux, Kester. You can rework it, not place the bits. Is there, what was I going to say? What's the ball grid pattern like on the underside? Best to programmer, copy your serial data to a new one, but you can swap the chip if not having a program. I do have a serial reader, but I don't know if I've got this thing, but I don't think that handles these things right. Vibrator, display and touch. I do have some other panels, swappable panels in there, but I think they're battery. Yeah, battery and lightning. That's not the same thing. If it's looping, it won't read, alright. Okay, so we're pretty much, whatever, from what I can gather, we're kind of up the creek. Is that how it is? We're up the creek? So I just need to slide the camera across. It's a little out of skew. That's a little better. It feels more natural for me. Yeah, I don't care about you guys. I'm worried about me. Reflow. Teresa, why are you telling me things like that? I'm just wondering if I can swing this illumination unit out or whether I just have to leave it there. Alright, well, we'll do it so like 250, low air, see how it goes. This won't be a reflow, it'll just be a clean. I might have to do the Jason Vilma flux system. Captain tape parts, ribbons, eel. See, I know it's jelly-like now, but as soon as that 250 hits it, it will, obviously liquefy. $250, it shouldn't be a worry about melting things, so we'll just take it easy first. You can see it's fizzing up, so it's doing its job. Engineering scale models. I'm guessing, what, do you do trains? Do you have a particular favourite scale on your trains? If that is what you do. I always admired the very small scales. I think it was the N scale. I can't remember. I shouldn't talk about it. And particularly the dedication to doing all the landscapes and things like that, the work and all that. That's, it's a very long process, a lot of dedication. Use your iPhone 10 bottom heater. Yeah, it's an idea. I add electronics to all types of scale models. Okay. This does split apart. Why didn't you morons tell me it split apart? No? Everybody was just staying silent, waiting for me to discover this. Thanks for nothing, people. Well, to be honest, I don't feel like I really need... I mean, do I really need the iPhone 10 heater? I can just pin it down like this and shield it. Yeah, thanks for nothing, people. It saved me a whole lot of not time. Unbelievable. And to think I come here to get help. Oh, thanks, Rob C. Thanks. Okay, now to make sure one doesn't drive a knife blade into the fingertip. Sure, Andrew, sure. Yeah, we'll let it go this time. I'm in a bit of a Karen mood today because my parcels did not arrive yet again. And to make things worse, is I had the full reassurance of the company that they'd organised a special priority delivery for me, and lo and behold, it wasn't even on the truck to get delivered to me today. It's a small town, and I found the courier dude, spotted him sneaking around some back streets, pulled up behind him, jumped out as if I was some crazed axe murderer, or something like that, and I said to him, "You got my parcel?" And he's like, "Eh, what are you talking about?" I was like, "My parcel, the one that you were supposed to deliver yesterday." Because it was an overnight, Overnight means next day. And he says, "Oh, no, that got left at the drop point." And I said, "No, it didn't." I said, "You took it back with you to Townsville." And he's like, "Oh, okay." I said, "So have you got it with you?" And he's like, "No, it didn't come in today's parcel lot." And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me." And so it didn't even turn up today. It's like a whole bunch of MacBook parts. And now I've got customers on my back saying, "Have you fixed that computer yet?" And I'm like, "Nope, parts aren't here." And people tell you that you shouldn't, you should just kick back, relax, don't fret too much about these things. It'll get to you, sort of thing. And it's like, no, if you don't chase these things up, it'll be a week before you get it. Yeah, flippin' frustrating. If you use the underheater, you should be able to pull off the sensors easier. Well, I've just. I mean, if I go, if I go 260, it should come off. As long as you don't go blasting it in its face, surely. I mean, basically these things have almost zero thermal resistance, so whether you're coming in from the bottom or the top. I mean, I agree though that the other way probably is smarter. Eturia? It's sensitive because it can sense your heat. I'm hot, baby. Alright, so the pad pattern isn't too bad. Anyway, hopefully tomorrow I'll get my parcel, especially since it's Friday and we don't have deliveries here other than the weekdays. It avoids warping the flex. Okay. Yeah, Jim, good thing that arrived tonight. Or yes, today. Not sure if I'll get to it tonight though. I think if you're going to use overhead heat, patience is certainly the key with low amounts of, low temperature, slow and steady kind of stuff. That top pad there's going to be a problem. Certainly if you come in blasting as if you're on a circuit board, yeah, you're going to ruin it real quick. Oh no, yeah, it's blammin' AFL day tomorrow. Ah, that sucks. Damn you Victorians. I gotta admit though, I do prefer AFL over the supposedly more manly rugby systems of Queensland and New South Wales. Is this just both these pads the same? Yeah, they're both connected. Okay. Just an ordinary person, yes. I am Australian. I'm just a little bit of a quirky one, that's all. Cues, it actually came in smashed. So I am a little curious as to what's going on. Because supposedly the boot looping only started after the smash. So I don't know, maybe the smash shifted some of the liquid damage around, or it just finally broke things down. I don't know. I might have to start green protective. Do some, what do you call it, UV protection stuff on here. There's still a lot of junk coming out of it as I wash it up. I genuinely don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's not a micro crack on the board. Let's hope not. Did I reflow the board? No. The board works fine without this flex attached. Now, it's not to say that there isn't a fault in the board, I agree. Just a bit much solder in the middle there. Try to reduce the quantity down. Yeah, well, it looks okay. Okay, Travis, enjoy the staff meeting. Nobody enjoys staff meetings. Staff meetings are terrible. This does look a little bit upset. I can see under the microscope there's a bit of a bend up here where our corrosion is. Use the infrared to make sure there isn't a hot spot on that piece. Pfft. Yeah, the infrared's not going to be that good. I mean, it's a good camera, but it doesn't have a macro lens, so we're not going to see diddly squat. Did you see... Q's, I knew that it was broken, but I didn't know if it was broken in a way that was functionally useful to us. But if we can start doing things like changing serial numbers, then that's brilliant. That basically gives us another 10 years of servicing. If that, yeah, I'm sure someone's going to bring out a turnkey tool where you simply just plug it into the board and bada boom, put your new serial codes in and you're where you go. That'd be very handy. Definitely a little worried about that pad there, but it is supposed to be connected to this one too. Hey, Ratmull and Paul Marrow. Shoot. I'm a little worried there's just a bit too much solder on that pad. Would I be looking at, interested in a Dell 9370 main book, completely dead. When I connect the charger, it does a whirring sound for 10 seconds. Nah. I'm not sure that's... Is that really worth doing anything with? How old is that board? I think it's... We're going to have to just... as Paul tries to tell himself that's going to be good enough, he keeps fiddling with it. Sounds about right. Yeah, that'll do. Dundria96, thank you for the £5. Any chance for a flexible review sale? I love open book review, but I want to support. Um, yeah, trying to. Okay, in short, no. At this point, I'm not doing any cut price offers. There was a reason I changed over to the 139 pricing. Oh, I swear I'm going to damage the sensor simply because I keep losing my grip on it and destroying it. Is that trash in there? Yeah, it looks like it's ruined anyway. Probably flux got in there or something. I'll just wash it down with alcohol. I mean, they should be able to handle alcohol, right? Rub between the fingertips. Based on the patterning on this chip module, I don't feel like it needs. Okay, it was up this way, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't feel like it needs to have any green stuff done on it. Yeah, the whole thing looks trashy. Yeah, huh? You got that much right. Okay, we'll just give it a chance to. Give it a chance to purge out all that junk. It's like a bad night out on the town the next morning. You just gotta get it out. Drink down some Bloody Marys or something. You allowed to say that anymore? Clearly there's liquid and junk in there. This might have to actually be ultrasonicked. Without... Oh, wow. Okay, so this really does need to be a dry... a dry fit. Oh, it is drying out. Wow. Colour me amazed. Man, this thing's totally vomiting its guts everywhere. There it goes. Nah, it looks straight to me. The JC programmer. Okay, so it's got a few extra bits and pieces in it. Okay, let's see if it's actually attached. Does seem to be attached. I'll consider that a win. Can't believe how much junk just came out of it though. Yeah, Handtech, I did see it bubbling under there. I don't know whether that's ruined it or not, but yeah. So I don't know whether I'm going to have to ultrasonic it and then flush it and ultrasonic it and flush it. It certainly looked different. Now, here's hoping we don't tear the flex while we're trying to get the captain tape off. That'd be rather an unfortunate ending to this story. Well, only one way to find out. Plug it in and see what happens. Could transfer it all over to a new flex. Well, yeah, that's assuming, I believe, someone was saying, as long as it doesn't loop. Okay, battery is disconnected. Okay, so flex is there. Nah, I'm trying to think which one now was the... Okay, definitely not you, you're non-functional. Not you, you're broken, you're another job. Too many iPhone 10 screens around here. Almost ruined that. Easy enough to do, I guess. Shift things around on the bench top and something snags and zip. Next thing you know, you're doing 20 or 30 micro traces, all because of your 2-second snafu. Nah, it's boot looping. Yeah, still boot looping. So I'd say the item itself is faulty. You have the original flex cable to be able to... Because at this point, yeah, the damage is probably internal to that little component, as opposed to on the pads. So I don't know if it's going to be possible to get the data off that. Yeah, you'd need the sensor to talk, and I don't think the sensor's talking. I think the sensor is itself damaged as opposed to the cable damaged around it. If the cable was damaged and the sensor was still okay, then I'd say, yeah, you could probably, do the data extraction, but I think that one's dead. I mean, the liquid damage was pretty bad on that, so it's no great surprise to me. Chances are it might have already been faulty, and then, yeah, just that last knock took it too far. Keep it. If you can't get an OEM original, you can reprogram it to another one. Might be able to get... Oh well. Well, for the meantime, I'll just tell the person that we've got their data off, so they're happy about that. But it was worth a shot. It was worth the experimenting. At least we got to see what was underneath that little module. Well, I got to see what was underneath the little module. You all knew about it. Let's see. I'll put this into its... Okay, you need a different container for that one. Well, if it's a new flex and you just lose Face ID, I'm fine with that. Okay, that's... I mean, the person would be fine with that. If all they're going to lose is Face ID, then there's no problem. We'll do that. I was just thinking that it would refuse to work thereafter. Okay, whose crappy screen's this one? It's not mine. Oh, this is the stripy one. This is the one I took from someone else's phone. It's got the green stripes on it, but it does actually work. Stripy. So while it does visually look bad, at least it does have the touch, whereas the one this guy had, the touch was dead in the middle, so I couldn't put his passcode in. Which was a bit of a nuisance. Okay, I've got to now finish up another iPhone 10. I've just got to, which is this one here, and then we can get on some MacBook stuff. It's just easier if I get the iPhones out of the way first. Ah, there you are. Hey, Andre. And I've already transferred the data over on this one. And now the part I don't like. Does anyone have a particular technique or secret that they like to use for removing that plastic bezel? Or, you know, taking off the whole lot without having to fiddle with the screws or anything like that? Because at the moment, with these scenarios, you know, I have to first take off the flex, then I've got to fight with the bezel, try to get that off without deforming it, things like that. And it seems a little bit too stuffing around, if you ask me. A high-pitched squeal, that's probably just me. That's my inner Ned Flanders coming out. Hey, Pernoff, how's it going? Do not lose the screws. Do not lose the screws. If you lose the screw, that's broken off. Best of brick and sledgehammer. Oh wow, the spammers have started a little early again tonight, haven't they? It seems like they've gotten wind of the fact that these streams happen and they get on with their spamming a bit early for my liking. Okay. Yeah. No, need to use the other one. This is the one that I use for getting home buttons off on the 7s and 8s. So it looks a little gummy actually, I might clean that up. High tech, what can't you watch? Heat, I use hot air. See, I prefer not to use hot air on that because then I have the trouble with the, what do you call it? The bezel deforming, even on low heat. So for this, I have generally found... Oops. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna have to flip side you, you mongrel. Okay, I gotta admit, this one's actually sticking a little more than I'm used to. There we go. And just as I say that, it decides to get stuck again. There we go. The first couple of times I did this, I did try with heat, and then I found the heat was just distorting things. And I don't have a lot of these to practice on, so I was like, right. Anyway, so this is the part that usually causes me grief. Trying to get this plastic bezel out without, knocking it out of its... You can see where it's molded in there. So... And I'll try to transfer these little foam pads if I can too. But I'm just never happy with how this comes out. Okay. Maybe I'll try... I'll try... Oops, no, not 460. I'll try 180 on the back side, not the... They're always been a pain to remove. Well, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that finds them a pain. Yeah, I'm doing it on the glass side at the moment, so... It's got a tempered glass protector on it, which kind of makes it a little... But then the problem I find is if you go too far, and this softens up, and when you can see already that it's kind of goes plasticky. I mean, it is plastic, but you know what I mean. It gets a little too eager to go out of shape. What the hell? Doesn't want to come out of there? Must know that's on YouTube. This one's got the mesh installed, so we don't... No. There we go. Well, what? What is this metal contraption that's all of a sudden turned up on this one? Here's Jessica. Oh yeah, Jessica, how you going? I have not seen... Okay, I'm doing something wrong here. Oh, it's the mesh. That's what it is. Try some ISO, may as well at this point. It's not like the screen's going to get any worse. Yeah, it's the mesh. Right, I see what's going on here. Now remember with knives, point to your chum. Actually, that's not true. I have a bad habit of just pointing to my thumb. Hey, Prolux. Yeah, this one's been glued in pretty good, actually. Hey, finally. Sweet, satisfying release. I suppose the question is, can you buy these now? Can you buy them as a separate item? Probably time for me to stock up. If it seems like people are going, what the hell, Paul? What are you even doing this stuff for if you don't have spares and so? I've only just started doing the iPhone XXR XS series, and so I'm still building up my stock of parts. Thanks, Ruslan. Appreciate that. Let's try to get some of that gum off. The gum really sticks around, doesn't it? Good enough. Hectic, yeah, that's what's thrown me as well, as the first couple of screens that I got did have them, and then all of a sudden the next series that I got didn't, and I'm like, what's going on? And it looks like this part is actually separate. So this metal barrier bracket here, I think I need to put that back on. But I may just clip this off because I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to. No, can you get this back in? Is it possible? Hey, Madame. Yeah, can you magically get this thing back in? And don't get me wrong, I'm sure I've buggered it, but still doesn't stop me asking the question. It's the question that drives us. Yeah, it's pretty damn close. Except for that piece of fluff there. Oh shit, don't you dare do that. Emergency, stat. £4 hammer with a gentle, yeah, fair enough. Phew, that was close. Alright, well these didn't get, oh look at that, there's a cute little apple sign there. They're probably hoping that no one will notice it. I think I'm just absolutely panicked hands, rather. I can only imagine what it must be like for a surgeon. Like if you're doing neurosurgery or something like that. That's probably a stress. Ah, that's it. Patient's dead. Beep. It's like, oh well, bucket. Next. These tweezers are not helping. They're actually perhaps a little bit too fine for the task. You're so fine. But in all seriousness, like I do have some of my fellow classmates. They're surgeons. One's a hand surgeon. I know it doesn't sound overly dramatic, but really the things like hand surgery, that is incredibly fine work. Yeah, the hands are amazing bits of engineering that can be completely butchered by anything. And then to go in and sort of go, okay, well, this guy just played a little too long with the meat grinder. Let's patch him back up and make him use his hands again. Yeah, so yeah, that's just amazing to do that on living tissue and stuff that's never the same. Okay, that's not really perfect, but I'll do. Working on ganglion in the brains. Yeah, I mean things like that. Yeah. It's just bonkers how crazy that stuff is. And yet there's these people and they go, well, I think I'll do that for a living. Uh, I'm probably being excessively pedantic here, but I would like to at least try. There we go. And I can't imagine when they're manufacturing these on the assembly line, a million a day, that they quite care as much. Damn it, the electrostatic force or whatever is making that damn thing drop down a lot sooner than it should. That's not very good. It'll work. Okay, what about this? Was it surgery is like trying to work on electrics and plumbing while they're alive? Oh yeah, definitely, Matthew, definitely. And people are a hell of a lot more critical and watching you when you do that stuff. Ah, diffuser got slightly diffused. You know, I shouldn't actually put it on. Yeah. I was thinking I really should just put it on the ambient light transmitter, but it's not going to stick. I should have used this as my guide. Alright, how in the farting fart? I've already had pizza. Hey, fix it. I got a feeling that that metal plate, it really doesn't want to sit in there because I think the hole is a slightly different size. Well, it's just going to suckety suck. Yeah, now the fun part indeed. Thank God at least they do have the 3 screws. Not quite as funny as the Three Stooges, but... Okay, so that's in. It's a shunky ass job. It would happen to be the first one I decide to even do on YouTube is the one that plate and the spacer decide to have a falling out with each other. Naturally. Yeah, normally when I can, I do prefer to get the prefabricated ones. So when these turned up not prefabricated, I was like, crud. Yeah, AJ, exactly. It's very annoying. Okay. So where's the body of this phone? Oh, there it is. And I also hate the fact that you can easily just snag something while you're trying to line all this back up and all your hard work's ruined. No. Nah, the scratch is still there. We had to take one of the kittens into the clinic today because we thought it was just a scab or something on the back of its ear, but then it fell off today yesterday, last night at some point, probably from roughhousing. And underneath it was just like a bit weird looking, festering flesh kind of thing. Anyway, we've taken it down to the clinic and we've just got to apply some stuff to it 3 times a day. Hopefully that's the end of it. Well, at least I do get an Apple logo. It's a start. And naturally, because I've got to take it off screen. I don't want your perving on my customer stuff. Seems alright. Yeah, I just realised there's a whole lot of... I gotta clean that up first. There's a whole lot of old adhesive on the inside of this. I know, it delays the repairing of the MacBooks, but... Come on. Damn it, Paul. Paul does not perv on his customers. What do I look like, a Biden laptop repair person? Who the hell even has time to do that anyway? So I'd be happy to just fall asleep when a customer's left the job. So, oh goody, I can go to sleep now. Not to mention, there's got to be people who put I believe you can record the activity on the iPhones or many things. So any reasonable person, if they're a little bit concerned, they're going to turn that on. So they're going to know full well what you've been doing. I believe someone was called out from that feature too. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't that long ago. Someone had been looking in places they shouldn't, and the owner had the session record or whatever going, and they saw what they had copied off, and sure enough, they found the photo on the person's computer or something like that. So yeah, you get up to that sort of thing, you're going to get caught. Ultimately. Okay, maybe. Just assume that you are. Don't do it. I'll tell you what I do hate though, is when people tell you in advance they've got all the trash on there and you're like, I really don't want to know. When I'm doing data recoveries, I will check that there are valid pictures, in the sense of I'll go into the thumbnails, I'll say, okay, I can see thumbnails, and then I'm going to leave it to you to go through and look at all your stuff. Don't tell me or warn me that you've got stuff in there. It's like, I don't really know. I'm just going to see that thumbnails come up, see that there's a certain number of pictures, and I'm going to be happy, and that's all yours. And if you feel like there are pictures missing, then deal with it. I'll deal with it then. But until then, keep it to yourself. Hey Cam, how's it going? Yeah, it is the flex. We tried to lift the sensor and reball it. It was liquid damaged. It didn't end up fixing it, so we'll just have to get a new flex, it seems. This is a different one, by the way. This is the second one, just a normal screen replacement. If you consider me doing a screen replacement normal, which it isn't. But yeah, the boot looping. The strange thing is that it actually happened after they dropped it and they lost touch control down the center of their screen. So yeah, maybe it did fail earlier, but maybe they hadn't had a need to reboot. So I don't know whether that boot looping only manifests during the boot process, and once you're through it, if something goes wrong, it doesn't boot loop, it just simply shuts down. I don't know. Did you lift the IC for Face ID? I lifted it. Lifted it. There were two very corroded pads up the top right. Gave it all a resoldering and stuff like that. No change in behavior. It happens. I'm not too fussed. So I'll be happy for the fact that if I can put a replacement flex in there and it works, and that's cool. Do iPhone 10s suffer pinched cable problems, or... Because this one kind of feels like it's gonna... Yeah, this one feels like it wants to get a pinch. I have seen some techs posting pictures of puffed out sides, so I'm guessing that's what they're moaning about. This one's not. Something else is pushing this up. What the hell is pushing you up? Something's pushing it up down the bottom here. Not here, where that flex is, but down here. I'm not sure what it is. Get off me, you black snot. Well, there's no flex down here, is there? There's the antenna flex. That's well clear. Yeah, I already have done the data copy. But thanks for checking with me anyway. Seems fine there. Seems fine there. Well, what? I don't know what caused that. It's not bulging, so that's good. Soft OLED, don't... Certainly I don't get the hard ones, that's for sure. I've seen all the people crying over having used hard OLEDs. They're like, the customer dropped it from the nightstand onto a pillow and it died. So, yep, sounds like hard OLED. Alright. Seems good. Camera looks deliciously nice. Facecam works. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Good. Fixed. Ah, it's got raised to wake crap on. Ah. Why do people have raised to wake on? Because really, that is... Okay, admittedly, it's probably not so bad now that they have Face ID. But with the earlier phones, raised to wake probably ate so many people's data. I don't do many of the X series, no. Maybe one, maybe two a week at this point. Okay, it's off to go back to the customer. Hey, Nell. How's it going? You working with Tim yet, Nell? Or is it all just falling apart? Now we can get to MacBooks. Blimey, that took a lot longer than I wanted. What is it? Crikey, it's 3 minutes to midnight and I haven't even started on a MacBook. I better make this a 1466 or it's just not going to happen. Sorry, Jim, that means the 1278 is going to miss out, but like I said, it's... I'm not going to... Can't really do a... what do you call it? Keyboard replacement this late. try get some semblance of a clean workbench, which basically just means getting your arm and like going, pushing everything. And then so far as the audience is concerned, it's a beautifully clean workbench. Hallelujah. Paul is the magician he always was. Ah, yes, 1 a.m. That's right, hectic. Wiper blade it. That's the technique. Just brush off any excess. That's what carpet's for. Hiding that sort of trash underneath. What do I do? Boot loop on an iPhone 6? That's probably going to be a memory issue or something. Something delightful that you can't recover from. Something you probably go through all the drama of repairing the damage only to find that the NAND needs to be fixed up or something. I don't know. There's so many different things on a 6 that can do boot looping. And so many of them, like I said, you get to the end and you still can't get the data back anyway. There we go. And now, of course I'm going to ignore you. What message? Man, now you're going to make me have to go back through here. Ah, here we go. Tim bought your ticket. Going on the 30th. Also, Lewis rehired you. Why? And so you need to clone yourself. Well, now you got to decide. Do you want to go work for a belligerent leader? Or do you want to go work for a benevolent helper? Tim. So you got a choice. Belligerent or benevolent? It's up to you. Are you a masochist or are you a lover? You can be both. It depends also what the re-entry program is with Lewis. I mean, does it mean getting run over by another truck? Exactly, some Australia, that's right, yes. Masochists can be lovers too. Oops, looks like we've pushed beyond the boundaries of the acceptable censorship levels here. Well, I can't imagine Anel will be easily crushed anymore. He does have titanium parts in him now. Of course, the fleshy bits all around the titanium may wither and die, but his inner T2 skeletal remains will conquer the world. Tim owns a truck. Ooh, good point. Yes. Looks like Anel's got a lot of thinking to do. Somehow I think he's going to end up back with Lewis. Okay, I don't even know what's wrong with this. Okay, let's see. No boot. Computer seems to be in clean shape. And it's a 165. And I haven't scanned the code. Code is in. No, there is a bit of a burst mark here. You can just sort of see above my finger there's a bit of a distortion which correlates not to that. Oh wait, no, I totally can see it now. Totally can see it. Yeah, this should be fun. Maybe. It could have also totally killed the machine. Yeah. I don't know if you can. The screen on my right's a little bit small to spot the details, but I don't know if you can see what's killed this. We'll get their drive out first. It's not a dead book. Dead book's the A1534. The flex is one aspect of it. But it's not the aspect that lines up with the spot that I saw. This spot here, the alignment there. But yeah, the flex is the first part of it. Do my 1 mile neighbours? No, they're too busy partying. Can I put a what? A14 Bionic chip in my iPhone 11? No. I can't even remove an iPhone 6 CPU. That's actually a bit of a trick statement. Question from Anel. Geez, Anel, why do you seem to be so difficult to take notice of? How many machines do you get? Lewis gets 60 daily. I get about 2 or 3 a day, which is very small amounts. I agree, but it does leave me with time to do plenty of other things in life. Okay, that just feels like grime. Leanne Grimes, 316. Okay. Alright, you all ready for it? Kablam. That's going to hurt the board. I have to be careful though. That could have carbonized. It could have carbonized some layers, and if it has done that, it's probably going to be better off to replace this board than it is to try and repair the board. It depends. Yeah, look at that. That's squishy under there. That's bad news. It's a dead short, that's for sure. Let's get this board out. What happened to the chat? Everything died. Oh no, there we go. Does that number differ significantly from pre-lockdown? Yes, it's actually improved on pre-lockdown. But there's a couple of factors that may be contributing. One, I've sort of there's a little bit more exposure for me at the moment, so there are more people getting in touch with me, sending in machines. So I don't know if it's actually a causation or a correlation. I am certainly happy for the extra work. It's suiting me well. 2 to 3 days is a good number actually, because it does give me time to do other things. Hey Milan. Nobody important. Yeah, the PC's pretty messed up. But we'll see. We'll get that cap off and then we'll test the sponginess. But the severity of that short does concern me. In my mind, I am thinking it's burned its way down and caused a lot of damage. But I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong, because it'd be nice to just fix this. It'll also be very nice to find the venerable T8 that I always seem to lose that I just found. Daredevil, yes, this is a A1466 MacBook Air, 13-inch. 820000165 board. Very popular model, very commonly in for repair, not because they fail easily, but just simply because people keep them for a long time, they use them a lot, and so subsequently you do get a lot of repairs required, kind of like cars. Whereas with PCs, if it dies, people get the data off and then toss the PC, get another one. Looks the same as Mac Pro mid 2010s. Certainly the colouring is the same. The board layout's very different. Things like the A1278s, they've got a bit more of a square board. And then of course you got your battery, your hard drive, things like that. But the actual circuit board appearance is very similar. Okay, well, at least we know what we've got to go for here. Straight in and deal with the dragon's breath. That's it. Nice thing is, of course, it's right next to all these weak-ass little plastic connectors. So we may switch over to the chisel tip soldering iron and just leave that cap out rather than trying to hot air our way through, because the hot air inevitably will pick up or sort of melt a little bit on the other bits. Now, why would you tell people to tell them that I sent them to Lewis? I'd never send him to Lewis. Why would I send people to Lewis? He's got his 1.5 million subscribers. He doesn't need more people. Yep. Well, that's one half of the body. It's like a war zone. Picking out corpses. Okay, well, we're lucky it didn't weld. Phew, it does stink though. Yeah, it didn't weld. We were able to get it off just with solder. So I'm happy for that. It's a good start. I'm gonna have to order a boatload of black conformal coating. Actually, that reminds me, I'm still waiting for my bottle of blue conformal coating. I don't know where. It's been like 2 months since I ordered that. I figured blue would be a little bit different, go in with my personal logo color and stuff like that. Yes, here we go. Well, that's healthier. Certainly much healthier. If I'd ordered from store Rossman, you know, I actually had to order a whole bunch of tubes of flux directly from Amtech. Oh, and there's corrosion on the Wi-Fi. We're not doing another Wi-Fi tonight. I was very happy with the fact that we did get the Wi-Fi connector changed over the other night. That was a nice stream. Wow, what happened there? And everything's working just great with that now. Alright, let's see if this boots. We don't need that cap. I will put a replacement cap there, but we don't need it right now. Looks like we don't need fan spin. We've got green blinkies instead. Okay. Power on. Green light. Power up. Now we wait for the blinks. Come on, blinky. Come on, blinky. Ugh. Hey, we got a blink. Yes, we are alive. Thank goodness for that. Actually started to worry then for a second that we'd taken out some other circuitry. Alright, let's put a cap back on there now. Was this Ant Engineering? Personally, I hate these caps. Yeah, if only all repairs were this easy. This is a rare treat. So I have to enjoy it while I can. Because I bet you Jim's keyboard replacement tomorrow is going to give me trouble. Okay, so this is the part here that exploded. And it's a 62 microfarad 11 volt tantalum poly. Yeah. I guess we can take one from another board. I'm really not in any way, shape or form a fan of polymer cap, tantalums rather. They just give me the heebie-jeebies. Particularly when you do take them off donor boards. Yeah, they don't enjoy that whole process of being reheated more than once or twice. Daredevil, yes, I do this as a business. This is a good portion of what I do on a daily basis. It's not the only business I do, but it's a big part. If you're in Australia, then yes, I can sort out your board. Technically, we could leave that part off and it would actually work, but we'll try to be a little bit nicer today. Can you fix my 2011 dead GPU? Of course I can, Cam. You know I can. I have got the CMI Zapper GPU killer cards. Definitely not a side hustle, this one. Full-time job. India. Well, there should be a lot of people in India that do this sort of work. Certainly I see plenty of people who are based in India posting on the various MacBook repair groups on Facebook. So they definitely do exist over there in India, so you're just gonna have just find one. They'll be around. The trouble is, what you're gonna have to fight with is that once you find one, then you're probably gonna have a dozen who approach you for the same job. Can you fix my PlayStation 4? Blue light of death. No. Me no do that. I'll do the HDMI ports. Oh, but that's about it. And most of the time I only do that for locals in this town. Save them going, taking the stuff away, or to another city or whatever. Okay, we're gonna need proper MacBook Air temperatures here. Gave it to a guy, but he's having a lot of trouble. That's unfortunate. Okay, maybe we need to find another guy. And I mean, that happens all the time here. We get people... Because, well, we can blame Lewis Rossman for the most of it. Because he basically came out and said, look at me, I don't know anything and I'm doing this business and it's so easy and I'm making so much money. I've got this awesome e-bike that I ride around on. And he's flashing his cash everywhere. And so everybody was like, hey, I can do this too. And subsequently now, the market is just flooded with people who probably shouldn't be doing it. But the trouble is they do it cheaper. And they just seem to have a knack for getting out there and finding the customers before the rest of us do. That stinks. And he burns down apartment buildings, yeah, I mean, how cool is that? The guy's a proper American hero. He is gonna beat me. Hey Damaris, how's it going? Muck away. Stockholm's allowed to joke. You know what's going to be the most frustrating part about this repair is the fact that I am going to have to ultrasonic this board. All for one pithy little cap. That's annoying. What's that about the popping battery at the stairwell? That was very impressive. I mean, you can see why that can be a real problem. Yeah, we just got to push this down. Let's push the other side just to be sure. You can do the push down with these. They are gull wing legs on them, so they will flex and bend a fair bit. Makue, not a fan of working on them, eh? I personally much prefer working on this Apple gear than the PC gear I used to work on. Much prefer it. I mean, at least I've got consistent board views and schematics, and I can get donor boards. The board numbers match. With the PC laptop stuff, it just drove me insane. And then most of the time with the PC laptop stuff, customers wouldn't want to pay. You're like, what? You want me to pay $300 for that? That was a $600 laptop. I'm not paying. It's like, I get it. I don't blame them feeling that way. And then the trouble is that most of the $1,000 laptops, the expensive ones where people might want to consider paying, you have even less chance then of finding board views and schematics for it because they're so rarely purchased. And so they end up not getting repaired either. Let's see. I had a co-worker who upgraded Dell Inspiron 3537i3 to the max RAM of the SSD, but the case was kind of damaged. I hope they leave the lid open on at all times. I don't think it'll last. Where's my nylon spudger? It's almost like I need to have a necklace or something, you know, something that just holds all my most common tools around my neck. So if we get a boot with this into my test operating system, then we'll call it a night. I'm sorry, I know it means we barely did any work tonight other than just stuffing around with those two iPhone 10s. But hey, at least we got to pull apart the flex on the iPhone 10, so that was something for me. But I gotta get up in the morning and be ready and strong to fight with the couriers again. I sent them a rather epic love letter this evening. I used words. I didn't swear, but I expressed my my disdain, I suppose you might say. How can anyone advertise at the moment? Pretty much all our advertising avenues are down. Word of mouth works well. Having support with other techs works well. It's a bit of a slightly iffy sort of game to play, that one, because you can also end up with a lot of people stealing your business. And it's like a risk you take. I'll consider myself extremely fortunate in that I do get mentioned quite a lot by the likes of Lewis Rossman. So I pick up a lot of clients that way, and just through the years now, I've had enough clients that they themselves then suggest to their friends to send me things. So I've gone through that kind of a startup phase. I got really lucky with the Lewis Rossman thing, so that was definitely a big bonus. I'll never not. I'll never deny that. The reason why I'm putting everything together here is I want to see if there's any functionality that's been damaged by that processor. I want to see if the Wi-Fi is working. I want to see if the battery's charging. The only thing I'm not going to do is plug in the solid state drive. Everything else we're going to have a look at. Yeah, Steve K, I was... I gotta admit, I did swear, but not at him. I was just more swearing to the universe around me when he told me that the package had not been put in the vehicle to come up today. So yeah, I did swear there, but like I said, not at him. I was walking away, but I'm sure he heard it. I was not happy. It's with the courier thing, it's kind of like shooting the messenger, but it's also the guy was culpable himself because he should have known. He should have dropped the package off at the drop point before heading back to Townsville yesterday. He didn't, and then he also didn't follow up to make sure that yesterday's packages that weren't delivered were loaded to go today. So, because he would have known that he was obviously taking packages back yesterday. So I do hold him somewhat culpable. Current looks good, 600, 500, it's right down the middle. Brightness is a little down, but that could just be whatever. It should come up. We'll see how it goes. Not Slowway, it was actually told. Normally they'll do their overnight delivery very consistently here, but I don't know where their logistics are falling apart. But it's a mess. I know why the screen's dark, because they've got the camera covered. Okay, now we're good. Okay, it's good. Brightness, good. The other courier that's been really bad lately is Sendle here in Australia. I had one customer's machine that took another. Find my Mac alert. FBI is going to come crashing through the window any second now. They're not going to get a very good. They're not going to get a very good picture of the offender because they put a piece of plastic. Anyway, do we always use the right hand option? Yeah, it's just out of habit. It has never seemed to have caused me any grief. Okay, this. I really need to see if this. I know they don't want to. Okay, that's okay. That's working. FBI just had a look at me. Okay, mic works. Maybe I should order some stuff from the States really quickly now, so that when the FBI comes over, they'll bring it with them. Up, down, right GUI. It's fine. Everything's good. Keyboard's all fine. We're doing 30, 33 frames per second. That makes me think this must... Whoa. Alright, that's not good. Did we miss something? I do like the MacBook Air, yes. Ensure I want to... Okay, disconnect that. And this is why I don't put the solid state drive back in when I do the first round of testing. Because if anything goes squirrely wrong with the board, then at least, hopefully, their information will be intact. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what did that. What I'll do is I'll run Valley again and see if it again immediately drops out, in which case then we know we've got a load problem. Maybe we've got some issues with current sensing, or who knows. They're gonna get an L there on my you can't get them anywhere. They're only for special people. Battery's at 43%, but I will check to see if it survives when I pull this. Okay, it doesn't. So we've got another problem here. Even though the battery is showing, it is not generating power. So our ISL 9, yeah, our ISL is probably kaput. Welcome to Why Testing is Important 101. This is why I put everything together in here, so that we could, see what was going to happen. Because when you do get a rather catastrophic failure like that one was, it's not too common that you get away with just that fault. It does happen, but personally I have found that more often than not there's always some secondary issues floating around waiting to be discovered. Nell is Professor X, isn't he? Professor X in training. He had an internship at the hospital. I think a damage spot should be okay. I'm gonna admit I did not even look at the back of this board. There's a bit of dust on it, but we didn't have a look at it. Hey Osis, you been lurking? So that was my foolish move. What is that? It's a piece of crud. Okay. Yeah, you look okay. It'll be something to do with either current sensing or power generation. Okay, there's a little bit of junk down there. And it's not great, but that's not really our fault. It really isn't. I didn't do it. I can admit, this resistor here, when I was looking at it before, looked kind of funny. So it could actually have a high value now because of the high amount of current. I'm not sure if it actually is related, but we'll have a look. Schematics. Okay, so this, I'm pretty sure it is 7150. Okay, yeah, there we go. R7150. And then this cap. So yeah, see, so it goes through here. So what could have happened is that extreme discharge could have caused that resistor to go a little bit high. I'm not saying it has, but I'm just saying visually it looks a little bit sus. What's this PP bus fuse? People want me to look at that, eh? .24, that's fine. But this, okay, so what we do is we measure what our point to point is. So our kind of like our 0 point, as it were. Somewhere around about 0.23. If it's anything significantly more than that, then we've got a problem with the resistor. Hilariously, it actually reads lower. We have created negative resistance. Congratulations, everybody. That I can't prove it, but I am suspecting it's that. We'll have a look at another one, see if it shows the same. See how that does not have that translucent appearance? Now, in fairness, between, like, these could be on separate batch lines entirely, like one could have been produced a million boards later, and so they could have spooled in a whole different set of resistors. But as a rule, I have never seen them with that little sort of green activity in the middle there. So purely from a visual perspective, I'm going to assume that that resistor is faulty. I could be wrong, But rather than pulling out all the test equipment and doing a bunch of tests, I'm just going to replace the resistor and see how it goes. Because that's how you don't use your brains. That's how you repair MacBooks properly. You just look at them and you go, that part's bad. And Paul thought he could just blob his way on this one. Come on, you can do it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure that value's been screwed up. Do you like to use MacBooks? I do, yes. For many years, I mean, I've been doing computers over 30 years now. And I've always had, when it comes to laptops, I've always used PC laptops. And there's always been something I didn't like. And then a person gifted me a A1502, MacBook Pro Retina 13-inch, and it was a life changer. It really was. I don't know precisely why, but when I started using that thing, it was just like, oh, thank goodness, now I've got a computer that I can just use as a computer, and I don't have to worry about stuffing around with anything or anything. It's just open it up and use it. It's kind of like mechanics or plumbers and all that. You just want to, when you finish work, you just want to use something that works. You don't want to have to keep working at home. Even though I do work at home. You get my meaning. See how even when this is hot with flux, it's not showing any of that greeny stuff in there? Pernov, come on, man. I had the glory of Slackware in the early, the late 90s, early 2000s. What greater satisfaction could there be? Can't believe it. Pernov trying to tell me that. I don't know what I'm talking about. And of course, yeah, I'm a Linux user, Linux, whatever you want to say. So pretty much using a MacBook is almost the antithesis of what I'm supposed to stand for. And yet I willingly stand here and say that I am a proud and happy Mac user. I also use Linux as my primary workstation, and I use Windows for, unfortunately, doing iPhones. So I just use whatever I'm going to use for the job. And I got to tell you, that really upsets a lot of people. Which of course only reinforces my belief that I'm doing the right thing. Likewise with my wife, actually, Elita. For years I tried to find her a nice PC laptop. Never really had much luck. I mean, she was fine, she used them and stuff like that, but once she got hold of the 1502, I had to go out and get another one for myself. I mean, they're old machines now. Well, relatively old. I don't think we'll be replacing them anytime soon. And a lot of the time it's the small things. It's like how well the trackpad works. It's like the fact that it doesn't matter what you were doing last. When you open up that lid, it brings you straight back up to where you were. Everything just starts running again. It's hard to explain. It's just a nice relief from all the dramas of having to try and get everything else to work through the rest of the workday. You'll be a little bit consoled to know that I use a 2013 27-inch iMac as my Linux machine. It does a pretty good job. The Wi-Fi is crap, the sound's crap, but it does a pretty good job. That's more driver issues than anything else. Ed, the upsetness comes from the fact that I don't adhere to a single ideology. It's like the obsession that people have to pick one team and stick to it. That kind of thing. For people in Australia, it's like the old El Paso taco ad. It's like, why not both? I was like, oh yeah. You can like more than one thing. You can support more than one thing. You're allowed to. No one's going to yell at you. Except the people that believe that you're only allowed to support one thing. Honestly, it gets like football matches and stuff. How dare you support more than one team? You're a heathen. Kill him. Anyone tried Peros? Nope. And I also don't use New Herd or anything like that. Linux, macOS, and Windows, I'm happy enough spreading myself out that far. If there was going to be an additional one, it might be something like BIOS. That was always a quirky little system. A very nice system. Just unfortunately it didn't really quite make it. They put a lot of effort into it, I'll give them that. Alrighty, here we go, folks. So what is MacBook's biggest flaw, coming from someone who will use it occasionally with their smart TV? I actually don't know. They're heavy. Depends which MacBook you're talking about. The fact that the SSDs, like when you're talking this sort of series, these proprietary SSDs, they're a major pain in the butt. But really, overall, I've got no complaints. Yeah, it's a good point you make there, Christian, about XP would be helping wine. I didn't think about that, but that is a good point you make there. Alright, let's see. 42%. Let's see if we fixed it or we didn't. Damn it, we didn't. Alright. So much for that theory. Hey, sometimes you gotta try it. Sometimes you're wrong. It definitely looked funny to me, though. So at this point, I would check the current sensing circuit resistances, and then check the ISL, and make sure I remove the battery before I take the LVDS out. You sure the battery's working? Yeah, you make a good point there too. You make a persuasive argument. I'll try a different one. Try a different one. Yeah, normally this place is swimming with 1466 packs. Are you any good, buddy? No, you are so liquid damaged it's not even funny. Let's see, have a look at my stash of MacBooks. Ooh, I forgot that I kept that one, and that one, and that one. I'm a little bit of a hoarder, I gotta admit, when it comes to MacBooks. I always feel like I've got to have more for the purpose of testing and stuff like that. So now I think I've got in the region of 4 or 5 1466s and got one 1398, which I love, but I never use. but I also can't sell it because I'm like, but I love it. A good 1398 with a nice fresh clean screen, blemish free screen is a very nice machine. You can get quite a bit of money for them too. I mean, the screens themselves are in the region of $1,000 Australian now. Hey Maven. For gaming and things like that, I don't know why I'm using that driver for them. I'm at the point these days where if it doesn't run on Steam and Linux, then I just don't care. Well, fan spin. Maybe it was a bad battery. But we'll still need to do the transition test. 3U tools for Windows, that's it, yeah. That's the only reason I use Windows, is just to run 3U tools. Got a removable drive bay that I just slot whatever spare 1 or 2 gig drives I've got into. And when they fill up, I just pull that drive out, put a new one in there, and that way you can keep 2 or 3 years worth of iPhone backups on standby, just in case the customer comes back one day and says, do you remember when you backed up that phone for me 2 years ago? Do you still have that? And you can go, why, yes I do. Well, it looks like TechSolve didn't get his comment in. Alright, so we are running off battery, so what we'll do now is we'll plug in the MagSafe. And then see if it will transition off the MagSafe. So we're charging at 1.1, 1.3, so the battery is taking power. And see how we go. Okay, good call. Was the battery. Thank you very much for making that comment. That was a useful comment. It fit the situation. And it helped me, it cut through the fog of 1 o'clock in the morning repairs. So thank you very much for that suggestion. We'll shut that down. That's it. That current sense resistor, I'm glad I replaced it because I didn't like the look of it anyway. Rustlin, why do you do so little shilling? Well, if I like a product, I will shill the hell out of it. But not in this is going to be an advertisement, please stand by while I show to you this lovely thing that I want you to buy. I prefer to shill in a more natural way, in the sense of I will use these chipmunks because I want to use them because they're useful to me. I will shill the yellow spudges or the battery waxed cotton things because they're useful to me. If someone sends me something for me to advertise, and if I don't genuinely feel like it's a useful product, then I just can't do it. I don't really willingly have the capacity in me to something's stabbing me in the leg. I don't really have it in me to fake that side of things. So unless it's genuine, then it's just not going to happen. But if I do genuinely like the product, then you're going to know that it's genuine. And I guess that was what matters in the end. Oh yeah, by the way, buy Flexboard View. It's the best. And thank you for the 60 rubles, Rustlin. Appreciate that. Self-promotion is one thing, if that's what you're meaning, rather like, if you meant shilling in the sense of me pushing my products or my services, that would, again, I would prefer to rather let the work I do be the advertisement. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you're not exactly overly professional when you do this kind of work. You make jokes, you make mistakes, you end up taking commentary from the chat, and they often are right when you're wrong. Isn't that a terrible image to be presenting to potential buyers or people who are potentially interested in your services? And you are right. It's the raw, undistilled footage can have a detrimental effect. But at the same time, perhaps it also filters out the unrealistic people as well. So to this point, I haven't noticed it unreasonably impinging on my rate of jobs or sales. So until I feel it does, then I'll continue to basically present the work I do, warts and all. How's that? Which MacBook? I do like the 1502s and the 1466s. I do feel they are starting to get a little bit long in the tooth. So I'm kind of curious to see what the next MacBook that I might like is. Probably against everyone's expectations, I may actually find myself liking the 1932. That is the one with the laughable cooling system. I haven't tried any of the new ones. I think I'm probably going to wait until I see the ones with the non-butterfly keyboards when they go back to this sort of more robust keyboard. When they get back to that, then I'll start looking again. Look no further than the A1534. Oh, that's a... yeah. But, yeah, these are good machines. They are still working perfectly fine. The only real gripe with these is, of course, as I said before, the SSDs, and particularly if you've got the Samsung brand one with the gold ring around the end here, the NVMe ones I think they will die on you. So just replace them with a Transcend Jet Drive 820 or something like that, and then you should be just fine. And sometimes you just want an update. You want to get something slightly newer. They are heavy machines, especially the 1502. It is heavy compared to some of the things you get now. But I gotta admit, every night when I'm finished for the day, I just pick up my 1502. I just do what I'm going to do for the end of the night. Watch movies or message people and things like that. It's the first laptop I've ever really consistently been able to do that with. But yeah, it will get old, and I'll have to look for something new. But probably what will happen is someone will bring in a machine like an A1932. It'll be end of life for them, or they don't want to pay the price, and they'll offer it to me at a reasonable price, and maybe I can fix it, and then we'll have a look and see what it goes like. What does everyone think about the possibility that the T2 chip has been broken? I think we went over that before. It'll be good if we can get around the signature serial numbering locking, because that will open up another 10 years worth of repairs for us. So that will be nice if that's possible. That said, even with the T2, say if it was unlockable, repairs like we just did are still going to be entirely possible. The T2 is not going to notice that you replaced a cap or a current sense resistor. Those discrete parts you're never going to have IDs in them, at least in the foreseeable future, and they're never going to be tracked in that way. So there's still a fairly broad scope of repairs you can do even on these lockdown machines. You lost faith in Transcend a few years ago. What happened? Because they're the only brand of replacement, these drives that I've been able to depend on. Maybe their other brands are dodgy, their other models are dodgy, but the replacements for the MacBooks seem to be pretty good. I humbly disagree. This is a community and nobody knows everything. You're actually demonstrating 200 IQ repairing. 200 IQ. I don't think I'm quite there, but thank you very much for the compliment nonetheless. Thank you. I'm waiting for them to bring mini LED screens. OLED would be nice. I have noticed that OLED for laptop has been a very non-existent thing. I'm not sure what's driving that. Maybe because once you get to this size, the manufacturing impracticalities, maybe because also the lifespan of a typical laptop is going to exceed the typical lifespan of the OLED screen. So maybe they don't want to have that negative association with OLED because people kept their laptops for too long. So T2 is only a problem with Touch ID, same as on the phone. Right, well, there you go. Poundov just said it. Thank you, Panov. Always good to have you weigh in. You get far more opportunity to sit down and dissect these things to greater detail, and certainly I'm very appreciative of that. Alright, that's it for me tonight. It's already 1 o'clock. I'm well over my normal cut-off time, but at least we've got another one solved. This will go in the ultrasonic, and then I will put it through some more testing. I'll also get the battery replaced. Thank you very much again for making that suggestion. I probably would have got around to it tomorrow eventually, but it was good to knock it out tonight so that I didn't spend the whole night wondering what was going on the board. So thank you. Alright, I'm out of here. I'll catch you all maybe tomorrow. Until then, you all take care. I'll see you later.